was 61, staring down the barrel of a life half-lived when it hit me. What had I let slip through my fingers? What had I chosen to bury? Those questions weren't just thoughts, they were knives cutting deep, punishing and waking me all at once. Facing the truth isn't a Sunday stroll, but the answers came raw and uninvited in ways I never saw coming. It started in the attic of my old house in Savannah, Georgia, a place I'd dodged for over a decade. Since Henry, my husband of 35 years, died, that attic was a tomb for memories too heavy to touch. But that day, a restless fire sparked inside me, urging me to face it head-on. The attic was just as I remembered, a maze of dusty boxes, forgotten treasures, and the thick, musty air that clung to my throat. I approached the first box, heart pounding, and pried it open. Inside, an old photo album, its edges worn, stared back at me. One look, and I froze. My fingers trembled as I lifted the cover, and the first image hit like a punch. Me at 22 on a sun-drenched beach, bathed in golden light, a cocktail in hand, laughter spilling out like the world was mine. A yellow bikini hugged my frame, oversized sunglasses perched on my nose, radiating a confidence untouched by life's weight. Youth, bold and untamed, stared back, stirring a hunger I'd long buried. As I turned the pages, footsteps echoed. I glanced up, startled to see Nathan, my late husband's nephew, at the doorway. 3 years since I'd last seen him, back when he left for work across the country. At 31, he wasn't the lanky kid I remembered. Broad shoulders, steady gaze, a man carved from quiet strength. "Eleanor," he said, holding a paper bag in one hand, a coffee cup in the other. "Nathan." I replied, a rush of surprise and warmth flooding me. "What brings you here?" He grinned easy. "Saw your car out front. Figured I'd check on you." He stepped into the attic, eyes scanning the chaos until they landed on the album clutched in my hands. "What's that?" he asked, curiosity sharp. "Just an old album," I mumbled, holding it tighter. But Nathan moved closer, his presence steady, commanding, and took the album without a word. He flipped to the beach photo. "This you?" he said, no hesitation. I nodded, a nervous laugh escaping. Hard to believe, right? His eyes lingered too long, tracing the lines of my younger self. "Wow," he said, locking eyes with me. "You were something else. Still are." His voice laced with awe, and something heavier sent heat creeping up my cheeks. We sat flipping through the album, each photo peeling back a layer of the woman I'd forgotten. Me in a sparkling red dress at a nightclub, hips swaying under neon lights. Me barefoot dancing on a rooftop, free as the wind. "You were wild," Nathan said, disbelief tinged with admiration. "Everyone's wild," once I brushed off, but his gaze, intense, unyielding, stirred something unfamiliar, something alive. We talked, laughed over outdated hairstyles, dug into the changes life had carved into us. But the air shifted thick with unspoken tension. When he closed the album, his eyes didn't leave mine. "You're remarkable, Eleanor," he whispered. "Something about this moment. It's like meeting you for the first time." His words stole my breath. After years of being invisible, his gaze burned through me, seeing the woman I'd buried. I couldn't speak, my face betraying the storm inside. He reached out, took my hand, his touch warm, steady, electric. "Eleanor," he said, soft but sure, "your beauty's beyond ordinary. It's extraordinary." My heart raced. For the first time in years, I wasn't just a widow, a relic of someone else's life. I was seen. That moment changed everything. The days after were electric. Nathan stayed longer than planned, helping clear the attic. We waded through boxes, laughing over forgotten trinkets, unearthing pieces of my past I'd let fade. But it wasn't just the attic breathing life into me. It was me. One afternoon, digging through old clothes, I found a dress, emerald green bold neckline, cinched waist, a favorite from my 20s. Nostalgia hit like a wave. Try it on. Nathan urged, eyes alight with mischief. I hesitated. It probably doesn't fit. He smirked. Only one way to find out. Spurred by his enthusiasm, I slipped it on. It hugged me perfectly, like it was waiting all these years. When I stepped out, Nathan's face shifted, a mask of awe and something deeper. "You look incredible," he whispered. His gaze set my cheeks ablaze, rekindling a confidence I thought was gone. Days passed, and our bond grew comforting yet unsettling. A force raw and undeniable pulled us closer, something I couldn't name or dismiss, but guilt lingered, a shadow over every glance. One late evening, washing dishes in the kitchen, Nathan appeared behind me, his hand resting on my shoulder, warm, sending shivers down my spine. "You're overthinking again," he said, like he could read my soul. "How can I not?" I whispered. "This isn't normal." He stepped closer. "Who decides what's normal?" His words hung, challenging everything I'd held true. One night, alone in the living room, I stared at the album. Those photos, fearless, unapologetic, felt like another woman. "Where'd she go?" I murmured. The answer was brutal, buried under years of duty, grief, and helplessness. But Nathan's presence sparked her return. His visits became routine, each departure heavier, his absence a quiet ache. One evening on the porch, as the sun dipped low, casting a warm glow over us, he turned, face serious. "Eleanor," he said, voice steady but fragile, "I've never felt this with anyone. Not like this." My breath caught. "I know," I said. "It's complicated." He nodded. "But it's real." His honesty shook me. "I don't know what to do," I admitted, trembling. "We'll figure it out together," he said, simple, certain. The path ahead was jagged. Gossip loomed, judgment waited. I could hear the neighbors' whispers, their voices sharp with scandal. Henry's family would see this as a betrayal, a stain on his memory. He'd been gone over a decade. Was finding joy again so wrong? One day, sorting old letters, I found one from Henry, sealed in an envelope labeled "Eleanor, when you need it most." My hands shook as I opened it. Nathan sat beside me, silent, sensing the weight. Henry's neat script leapt out. "If you're reading this, I'm gone. My deepest happiness came from loving you, but life goes on. It's a treasure to be lived without regret. If someone brings you joy, reflects your beauty and fire, embrace it. Love them, for both of us." Tears fell. Nathan's hand rested on my back, his touch an anchor. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded, voice breaking. "I think so." Even with Henry's blessing, the road wasn't smooth. Every moment with Nathan crackled, the air charged. I noticed details I'd ignored: his squinting smile, his deep laugh, the quiet strength he carried. One evening, cooking dinner, our hands brushed, reaching for a cutting board, lingering too long, deliberate. Our eyes locked, a silent vow passing between us. I stepped back, heart pounding. "This is complicated," I whispered. He set the board down, faced me. "It doesn't have to be." "It is," I insisted, gripping the counter. "I'm your late husband's aunt." "Who cares what's typical?" he shot back. I looked away, his gaze too much. "They'll talk, they'll judge." "Let them," he said, fierce. "They don't know us, our struggles, what we mean to each other." Soon the whispers started. A neighbor saw Nathan leave late, spreading the gossip like wildfire. By the next week, it was bold confrontations. At the market, I overheard two women, their voices dripping with venom. Eleanor, of all people, with her husband's nephew, disgusting. I walked past, head high, but inside I was crumbling. At home, Nathan waited on the porch, his presence a steady flame. "They're talking," I muttered, voice shaking. "Let them," he said, pulling me into his arms. "They don't matter." But it wasn't just strangers. My daughter, Lydia, exploded when she heard. "How could you?" she shouted, pacing the living room, face twisted in disbelief. "He's practically family." I stayed calm. "Not by blood, not like you think." "It's still wrong," she snapped. I handed her Henry's letter, hoping it would bridge the gap. She read in silence, her face softening, but doubt lingered. "I don't get it," she whispered. "He's so much younger. What does he see in you?" Her words cut deep. "He sees me, Lydia. Not a widow, not an old woman, someone worth loving." Weeks turned to months, and Nathan and I faced the storm together. Some days the pressure felt crushing, tempting me to turn away. But Nathan reminded me why we fought, reawakening parts of me long hidden. We danced again, my old passion from my 30s reborn. We hiked, tried new restaurants, planned a weekend at the coast. Life surged through me, vibrant, unapologetic. I stopped caring about others' opinions, embracing my right to happiness, norms be damned. One day, gardening, a car pulled up. Lydia, to my shock, stepped out, uncertainty and resolve on her face. "Mom," she said, voice softer, "can we talk?" I nodded, brushing my apron. On the porch, bathed in late afternoon gold, she spoke. "I thought about what you said, how he sees you. I get it now. I've spent my life chasing others' expectations, and it's made me miserable. But you're brave, you're living." Tears welled as I reached for her. "I just want to be happy," I said. She nodded, a faint smile breaking through. "I'm trying, Mom. I am." The whispers faded as those who mattered, family, close friends, accepted us. One night, under a starlit sky, Nathan took my hand. "Eleanor, you've given me a home, a purpose, a love I never thought possible." I smiled, heart full. "You brought me back to life." We'd chosen each other against judgment, doubt, and fear. We found something rare, delicate, transcendent. A love that defied norms and revived our souls.